this video, I'm going to show you how to use MangoHud to fix your frame rates. In previous videos, I've shown you how to get 60 frames per second and higher using Optiscaler and some other tricks. But sometimes you'll run into this problem with stuttering, where your frame times are not consistent, which can lead to stuttering when you play games, and it's not a very good experience. So I'm going to show you how to use MangoHud to limit your frame rate. You need GOverlay, and then you need to go into Package Installer, go to Repo, and make sure you have MangoHud. I believe it's installed by default with Cache OS. Check your distro just in case to see, because it varies distro to distro. So after you open up GOverlay, click on MangoHud, click on Performance, have these options checked off so you can see what your frame rates are, your 1% low, which is the average frame rate of your longest frame times, your FPS limit, and your frame time graph. And I'm going to switch this back to 120. And when I'm in game, I'm going to press on my keyboard the left shift key and F1 simultaneously. And that's going to change my FPS limit. It's going to toggle between 120, 60, and 30. You can put any values here that you want to. Like you can put in 120, 90, 60, 30, or 60, 45, 30. It's up to you. But these are just what I want to do. Go to metrics. I'm going to show my percentage load for my GPU, my VRAM, temperatures, power usage, which we're going to see a big difference whenever we're in game on that. And then extras. This is just what I like to have. You can do whatever you want. And since I have Optiscaler, I'll go over here, click save, and then click on this little copy command, and then go in game. And make sure it's pasted here, which it already is. So close out of that and let's get in game. Apparently I forgot to click save. Make sure you click save. So once we're in game, I don't have my cursor, but you can see in MangoHud, my FPS limit is 120. Frame rate here is like 66. Let's reset my my stats. Yeah, so I'm starting at 66 and my frame rates are jumping between, my 1% lows are jumping between 45 and 50. So I'll spin the camera around. You can see a little bit of jittery. Some jitterness. I know you're going to ask, why don't you just cap the frame rate in game? So let's cap it at 60. See what happens. Shift F9, reset. And my 1% lows already immediately dropped to 40. So it's 2/3 of the average. It's not great. And it's a little, there's some stutters. Run away from the orcs. So now, go back into the menu, go to graphics, and then I'll uncap the frame rate in game. And now I'm going to press Shift F1 on my keyboard, and you see my FPS limit changed to 60. And then right Shift F9 to change my counters. And my 1% lows still aren't great. It's better. The game is much more smoother, much more smooth. Let's do something that's going to maybe cause some shader cache stuttering. It didn't. Oh, you know what? This is like the thing that makes me so mad about MangoHud is, I wanted to bring this up too. It wasn't showing my utilization. Okay. So put me back at 120. Now I'm at 60. But you can see my my utilization went down to about 80%, and my power consumption also dropped. Dropped down to 30. Same thing. I don't want to play at 30, but I'm at about 100% and 300 to 305 watts. But if I drop down from 87 to 60, I'm sitting at 150. But I'm still not impressed with the 1% lows. I think we can do better. So I'm going to bring up my settings and go to display monitor, and I'm going to switch my refresh rate from 120 down to 60 and click apply. And then shift F9 to reset. My 1% lows are still sitting around 46, 52, 50. There might be one other change I can make. I change my model detail down to high. It's a little bit better. Change the display sync to VSync. Shift F9. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is also a very poorly optimized game. But this is about the best I've gotten this game to run. Switch my refresh rate back to 120. Then next up, I'm going to try Red Dead Redemption 2. Alright, I'm in the beginning of Chapter 2. I'm at the Heartlands Ranch.
Hello.
And I do have Optiscaler running FSR 4.1. Really hard to tell. I'll hit Shift F9 to reset my counter. And 100% utilization. I'm sitting at about 50 degrees Celsius for my temperature. Bouncing between 300 and 310 watts. And my frame rate, sitting around 86. And my 1% lows is 62. It's pretty good. And it's a very smooth experience. And I really don't have any complaints, but I don't need to run this game at 80, 90 frames per second. By limiting my frame rate, I can extend the life of my video card. Instead of running it like full blast 100% of the time, I can limit my frame rate to 60 frames per second. I'm dropping 20 or so frames, and I'm using less than half the power. And my temperatures drop 10, 11%, 10, 12%. And I barely notice the difference. The only thing that does change is the game does seem a little jittery. I'm seeing 60 frames per second for my 1% lows, but it doesn't seem like it. It seems like some frames are sticking. So same thing, I'm going to go back to my system settings, and then on my primary monitor, my gaming monitor, I'm going to switch this back to 60 hertz. So now my frame rate is matching the refresh rate of my screen. Shift F9. And I don't have any jitterness.
Hello, Arthur.
Like it's running buttery smooth.
Keep at it, Marston. Don't want that fire going out.
Oh, he just gave me a look.
You're keeping busy? Trying to. Well, don't let me stop you. Okay.
So the biggest key here is making sure that your frame rate is matching your refresh rate of your screen. So here my refresh rate is 60 and I have my frame rate set to 60 in game. I'm using half the amount of power. I'm not running my GPU at full blast. And I'm not missing the 20 frames per second that I would be getting otherwise. So that's Red Dead 2. Switch my refresh rate back to 120. I'll show you the third game, Crimson Desert. In Crimson Desert, I'm getting low 60s. Let me refresh. Yeah, low 60s for my frame rate, low to mid 60s. My 1% lows is 43, so a little bit to be desired. And let me check settings. Frame gen is off. That's another thing too. Make sure you don't have frame generation turned on because that can cause a lot of stuttering and jitterness when gameplay, especially only when you're limiting your frame rate though. If you're doing an uncapped frame rate, it's fine. But if you're capping your frame rate like I'm doing here, don't use frame gen. It's not going to help you. So make sure you're getting a stable minimum 60 frames per second, upscale to balanced. So I'm sitting around 70s. My 1% lows are still low to mid 40s. And now I'm going to press left shift and F1 to drop my frame rate to 60. And it's smooth. And what I think is really interesting is that Crimson Desert isn't giving me the same jitteriness despite my stable 1% lows that I was seeing with Red Dead 2 or with Rebirth. I also see it in Hogwarts Legacy. It's really bad in Hogwarts Legacy. So your experience is going to vary based on the game. But just funsies, we'll change it back to 60 just to test it. I actually do think it's better. So the key takeaways here are make sure that your refresh rate of your monitor is matching your frame cap, which I have mine set to 60. Make sure you're getting a solid 60 minimum or whatever you decide to do for your frame rate cap. You can do 90, you can do 48. You could do 48 if you're not quite hitting 60. Like let's say you're sitting between like 55 and 60 and you still want to have a stable frame rate, you can change your cap to 48. We'll go I'll show you here. We'll go native AA for my upscale resolution. And you can see I'm sitting around 45, 46. I don't want to quite do 30. Maybe I do. This is what 30 frames per second will look like. So it's up to you how you want to do it. I just wanted to show this technique to you. Figured it might help with your gaming journey. Let me know in the comments if you thought this video was helpful. And don't forget to leave a thumbs up down below. It is a big help. I really appreciate it. And it lets me know that these are the type of tutorial videos that you want to see. And also, let me know in the comments if you have any ideas for any other tutorials or helpful videos that you would like me to make for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.